cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in too. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in too. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host, Freddie G, Slash, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. And you can find us on Twitter at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And if you're on YouTube, please don't forget to like and or subscribe. All right, fellas, today's topic on True Tuesday. I personally think, China has always been a step ahead of us. And I just happened to see in the news recently how they've incorporated using artificial intelligence in the classrooms. Apparently, China is at the forefront of using artificial intelligence in classrooms, and it has implemented various AI-based technologies to enhance education. Mm-hmm. My thing is, they always seem to be one step ahead of the U.S. in my opinion. And I'm just like, if we can't beat them, why not join them?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
From using the artificial intelligence, one of the key factors that they benefit from using this is, it's able to provide students with a more personalized learning experience using algorithms.
Yeah.
Which is effective nowadays in a lot of things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I say, why can't we get on board with China, instead of arguing about, what books we taking out of the classrooms or out of the schools.
Right.
That seems to be one of our biggest issues here in the U.S.
Yeah. Yep.
Versus trying to better the education of our kids or helping it.
I think it may be about the money. Maybe they don't want to pay for this system, because in order to use that, I'm sure that's $1 billion system. To teach anybody, it's got to be worth billions.
I'm sure it is expensive, but we have programs that, the money is there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They can come up with it.
There you go. Yeah. They can come up with it.
They sure
man.
can.
It's just a matter of finding, and as far as picking a school, pick some of these schools that are grading, that have grades C or below.
Right.
Use those as the guinea pigs.
Right.
And they could, kill two birds with one stone, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I agree.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: we beat them and join them. We not. That's first of all, they're not gonna join the U.S.
Well, I'm not saying necessarily join us.
Not join, but China's not going to be willing to share. Let me give you an example. Just use TikTok for example. TikTok, we use that every day, all day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over here in the U.S.
Yeah.
However, China has their own version where it starts at 11 a.m., and then it shuts down at 5 p.m.
At a certain time of day.
Also, you only can post educational items on their version of TikTok. So our version versus their version, theirs is promoting positivity. China wants to do anything they can to distract us from what's really happening, like taking away the U.S. dollar. They're slowly buying up parts of Africa. If you haven't read about it, but they are buying up Africa. They are doing a lot of things to where China is not trying. They're trying to take the U.S. They are not trying to share
but now
any information with the
you
US.
mentioned China taking over. Now, my thing is this: can you fault China for America falling for it?
Well, if you can put talk show hosts in as presidents, I guess. You can't really fault them. It seems to me the U.S. Just my own personal thought process is we're not taking things seriously. We're taking a lot of stuff lightly. I mean, we're letting a lot of stuff slide through with the little balloon incident. How you let a whole balloon float?
Yeah, now that was really serious.
Yeah, you let a whole balloon
Not
float
just one, but
across
two.
the world, two.
Yeah.
Across the world.
Yeah.
We're taking stuff lightly, and these other countries, man, they're not respecting us at all.
At all.
They're not respecting us.
I
at
agree
all.
with
So,
that.
Come on, I think we're getting a little sidetracked now.
We're still talking about China
we-
because
yeah.
they're not respecting us either.
I understand they're not respecting us, but my thing is the things that they're utilizing over there is beneficial and it's proven pretty much how it. Most of the Chinese or Asians that come to America, what are they doing?
They come over here.
They own some sort of business.
They make
They
money.
did utilize
You know,
they utilize our resources, get their own business, get the bag, right? Again, you have to look at it from a bigger picture, man. They're not going to give us anything that's going to be beneficial to us, to the U.S. If that's the case, we would have been allies long ago. You know, we could have came together and found cancer cures and everything else. But that I don't know.
You mentioned how China utilizes TikTok, and they're able to control when it's used. How are they able to manage that? Do you know that?
I do not know that, but from what I've read, it's like a capability, sort of like how we do the Wi-Fi here. You know, you're able to turn it off. Your kids go to bed, you can turn it off at 12. It's probably the same. I'm gonna say probably the same instance, same thing. They start at 11 a.m. and they stop at 5 p.m.
It's
So,
probably
you can
the
actually read
actual
about it.
site itself.
Yeah, it's probably
It's set up like that.
It's set up like that. It
You know?
opens at 11, closes at 5, like
Yeah.
a store or any online.
Well, they definitely should utilize that here in the U.S. as well. I
Yeah,
mean,
because we're not using TikTok for nothing.
So, K-Money, you said that you think that China is a step ahead of us.
I feel they are.
Yeah, they are.
So, part of the reason, in my opinion, why they are is because they're a dictatorship and we are a free country.
right.
So when you have
I
somebody
agree.
dictate, when you having somebody dictating, saying you're gonna do this or we're gonna do that, and their punishments are a little harsher
Severe, yeah.
than the U.S. So I think that's a major reason why they're ahead of us
Yeah.
when it comes to things like that. And because we're a free country, that's why people want to flee. People want to come to this country
Right.
because they want to get away from the dictatorship.
You made a valid point, man. I didn't even consider them being a dictatorship, and that plays a very important role on how they're able to do the things that they're doing. Like Comedian 96 mentioned the TikTok, so yeah, basically do as I say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, but I think America will kind of join on and start using artificial intelligence. If it starts to push China in a certain direction financially, without having to have, and when I say financially, you're not paying actual workers now. The government saving a lot of money.
Right.
I think America would look at that and say, okay, well, let's save a lot of money. Let's start getting into this artificial intelligence and see how much money we can save.
Well, they have that's I don't know how real they are, but it looked real. I mean, whoever did it went through a whole lot, but I've seen a lot of TikTok videos. One I want to say was it South Dakota or North Dakota? It was one of the Dakotas, and it was a McDonald's and was no workers. All artificial intelligence.
The thing
But
came
you
out
only
and
can
fed
use you only can use
the robot.
card. Yeah, that's the only thing. You only can use a card. You couldn't use cash there. That's the only thing. You only can use a card.
Yeah.
I think that we underestimate the U.S. sometimes when it comes to how powerful and the technology we do have. Mm-hmm. I think we're underestimating, and I think we're stronger than we give ourselves credit for.
Oh, well, we are. We showing up. We showing. We not
We too
showing
free
it.
to be on the same
Yeah,
page.
man. We
That's
not
what's
showing
wrong.
it. You just
The
don't let
freedom
it.
that we have is being taken for granted. You think?
Yeah,
Right.
I do think so.
I don't know if it's being taken for granted.
We're not
but,
utilizing it the proper way.
But
That's
I,
what I think.
So, like over
You
here,
know.
we go outside. We freely can just go outside at any time. To whereas you in the countries like that, you can go outside and it's, oh shit, they're cutting heads today. I'm a chief. You know, it's not.
heads.
It's not like the U.S. We have so much freedom over here. You just don't know.
I mean, where they cutting heads at again?
Man, they be
Where is this?
all these other countries is not the U.S. Man, you
Yeah,
understand? I'm telling you, they have a ruling. When I was in the Navy, but when we pull into port into Abu Dhabi, and it's so crazy, or Bahrain or Jebel Ali, they would say, "Hey, don't go out here stealing, because they're not going to take you to jail. They're going to process you, and then they're going to cut your finger off." And people still
Yeah.
did it.
Did it. Yeah. I heard about that in
So
Jamaica.
if they're gonna process you
Yeah.
and cut your finger off, and you still go steal anyway, man,
Yeah.
I
you
mean,
asking for that.
yeah,
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
yeah. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So if they can cut your finger off, I'm pretty sure if you quit a job or something, they can cut your head off. That's all I'm saying. Quit your wife, he's gonna cut his head off.
yeah, I think dictatorship plays a big part in it.
Definitely, I agree with that too.
Freddie G, you mentioned you think we underestimate the U.S.'s power, or how advanced we are in the things that we're doing. My question again though, even though China is under a dictatorship, if we're seeing that these things are beneficial, even though they're being forced to do it, why can't we piggyback off of them and not necessarily force, but offer the option maybe, and then once people see that it's working, then
because politics, and when you have a divided government, and you have leadership that kind of although he's no longer in office, but meaning Trump.
yeah,
When you have leadership that promotes division.
and he
Then-
did a good
Yeah,
job.
He did a
with
good
that.
job
So
with it.
so
Yeah.
part of the reason why we can't because of the division, and we can't put together a bipartisanship.
Right.
Facts.
And then not only that, what if we just look at it this way? Say China say, "Oh, come on, US, well, we're going to go ahead and give you some of our AI technology," right? You don't think, as smart as they are, spyware, small nuclear device
Well-
to where they will go off all at the same
it could
time
be
in the
dangerous.
US.
It could be
Thank
dangerous.
you
Yeah, but
for bringing
here's
this
the-
over here for us. We didn't have to even shoot a bomb.
Here's the
It's
thing
already
with
here.
that. Here's the thing with that. K Money had asked, why can't we piggyback and kind of do our own? So not necessarily trying to partner up with China to bother their stuff. We create and make our own. I think that we're just as smart
Oh yeah, of course.
to create our own. Now, with that being said, the reason why I think is because of the politics and the division, to where the Republicans and the Democrats can't get on the same page to create a bipartisanship.
Right.
Right.
So as long as although we're a free country, we are a country that's divided by politics.
Right.
Yeah.
It divided in a lot of ways.
And well, yeah, a lot of ways, but the politics plays a huge part.
Right.
Then it trickles down to race, and then
Right.
social class,
Yeah.
and money, the have and the have-nots, and so
Right.
forth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, it all revolves around politics.
Politics and money.
Yeah, and so when you have leadership, and again, I call it the Donald Trump residue that's left over. When you have leadership that promotes division, then of course, I mean, you're not going to be able to be on the same page to get things done. And then what happens? 4 years, a new election, then you got to hope the person that put something in place stays in, because if another president comes in that's a Republican, he goes and undo what the Democrat has
he
done,
gonna change it.
and vice versa.
Yeah.
Whereas you have a dictatorship, those presidents, they're in for
It's-
a long
yeah, it's what they
time.
say.
They're just kind of staying there
What they
for
say
forever.
go. Yeah.
You know,
they
they stay and they
Yeah.
stay there forever for their plan to actually, even if you got a president that's in place. I know we're talking about China, but let's use Kim Jong-un for an example. You got this guy here in place for so long, you know, if he's projecting to have something done, a nuclear rocket to reach the U.S., hypothetically, have something done by 2030. Well, he's going to be in office long enough to see it
To
through.
see it happen, right?
Versus the U.S. every 4 years we're voting, and then you may get one political party that totally disagrees with this one. So now let me scrap what they did.
Yeah, that's the big
And now
confusion
you
here.
starting over.
Now we got to start all over.
Yeah.
We can't never get nothing done.
That's the big confusion.
Yeah, exactly right, man. Politics.
They need to make the. That's another topic for another day, but they should make the term.
That's why it's so important that we get out there and vote.
Yeah.
You know, we can't complain about things.
Not just the
express
presidential.
our opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if we're not getting out there and doing our civil duties by voting. But you were saying, Slash, that
Yeah, we need to vote not just the presidential, you know.
Midterm.
midterm
We need,
elections.
yeah, we need to vote, period, all the way
I think
around.
that's where they
City.
get us at is the midterm.
Yeah.
A lot of us
The
don't want to
midterm
get out.
election
Yeah.
is what really.
That's the one that-
That's where the difference happens.
Right.
You know,
Because now you making sure the right people in your city are in the right place so you can get
right
out of what the rights are. You know, your rights are worked with or whatever, you know. So, you know, it's
And honestly, I hate to say it like this, but I would rather vote for the make shit happen people than versus the actual president. Because the people that actually making stuff, you could actually probably go to the city hall and possibly have a conversation with them. Like a mayor. You know, I've ran to the mayor quite a few times, but I've never ran into the president. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And so like, you know, when K Money was saying, you know, how do we, you know, he thinks that we need to get on board with artificial intelligence,
Right.
with what they're doing. I think that we're just as capable of doing it, but again, the politics would keep us from doing it.
But look at what we're wasting time arguing about today. And you know, one of the biggest issues nowadays in the United States is basically, you know, curriculum and what books to have in and out of the schools.
right.
Yeah.
That energy could be used. You know, well, again, I know you're saying politics,
Yeah.
but I just feel we're wasting time arguing over that type of bullshit when.
It's other stuff
Yeah,
more important,
Right,
man.
exactly. And
Yeah.
you see where it's leading us. Every time
Yeah.
we try to talk about AI intelligence, we end up back at politics. And it's this conversation should be, hey, we need to be talking about, hey, can we upgrade our systems to match what China's doing? Can we make it work? But because of politics,
Yeah, because
we
it's gonna
can't
come.
move past
It's
it.
gonna come down when you're speaking of schools, K Money. It comes down to funding. Where the funds come from, the government. When you got certain people in place, again, the politics. It's the funding.
And then that's where certain schools are benefited more than other schools.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's when it really
Exactly.
begins to be a problem when this school district over here got more than this school district because this child going over here and this child learning because of the AI. This child still on the same level.
Right.
And then that falls into, I mean, who suffers the most when it comes, let's say
it's the
we're speaking of AI intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get it in schools and things of that nature. But when you got the politics and then you got the have and the have nots, who suffers the most? The inner city kids.
Right.
The kids, and usually that's us, black kids. So again, the funds are not going to trickle down. You're not going to, those funds, because of politics, is not going to make it to the black community, to the schools. And so again, we're back at square one. got to get the right people in office. And once you get them in office, you got to keep them there.
That's the thing, keeping them there.
Right.
Because,
Now,
it takes more than 2 years or 4 years to get the job done.
And we know all they're going to do is try to pull up some junk on somebody.
And if you can't keep them there because they've served their time, you got to put somebody in after them who were
Like-minded,
them,
yeah.
like-minded
Right.
individuals. So that probably means making sure if you're a Democrat, keep the Democrats in. If you're a Republican, whatever your stance is, you keep them in. Because the minute I voted and I got my guy in, and then your guy tenure ends.
Yeah.
And now your guy tenure ends, you feel like, I ain't going to vote because my guy ran this term.
Yeah.
Well, you need to go get a like-minded guy like your guy.
They were speaking
Because
the same language.
they were
that you
speaking the same
understood.
language because your guy can no longer run it. His term is over. Go get a like-minded guy. Just because your guy ain't no longer there, that don't mean stop voting.
Yeah, lying.
Yeah.
So I got a question, just real on topic, off topic, but just kind of funny with the AI intelligence. If they had the, and they do some cars, but right now they're just parking cars, from what I'm understanding. They had the technology to where it drove you everywhere. Would you trust it?
No.
No.
Same here.
It don't take me long to answer that
It's
one.
already proven,
Yeah,
man.
don't they have
It's
these
already
vehicles
proven. Tesla had the self-driving car. You know how many people done died
Exactly.
I did not.
and burned up, like burned, man, and crashed and burned. Yeah, because of Tesla
I did
self-driving.
not know. I did not know.
Yeah.
I know they had the self-parking car, but I did
No,
not know they had
self-driving.
Yeah, I know they had the cabs, but it
No.
it was on a rail, so they didn't
Tesla,
had-
man.
See,
It's people done died.
And see, now that's artificial
burned alive.
intelligence.
That's artificial intelligence. That's what I'm saying. Some things you can-
That proves that it's not safe.
right. And
if-
stuff
if
like
we-
that can be
if we
hacked.
go there-
Look at our banking system. That's AI, computer, right?
Semi-artificial
And
intelligence
that
it
has
is.
nothing to do with China, but some kind of way they always manage to hack into something. Build
Everything has a flaw.
right?
Everything, even whatever China's doing and whatever they're putting together and they're making, it has a flaw. Think about the rockets that they test. How many that blows up?
Right.
Yeah.
How many that never makes it? So
Right.
everything has a flaw, man.
That's true.
Well, I'm not saying, even if we did go to using artificial intelligence, that it would make us better or it would increase the type of learning. I just feel that it would help, just based on what I saw and have read, and I do feel it would be more beneficial than not.
Right.
But like Freddie G say, it's all down to the politics. So let's get out there and vote and get the right people in office to make the moves that we need made to make this world a better place. This concludes another True Tuesday episode, and be sure you tune in tomorrow for Women Wednesday with Freddie G. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, The 52 Scott Podcast. And for all you YouTubers, don't forget to like and subscribe. And to all my 52 Scott faithfuls, it may be new to you, but if you heard it here, then you know it's true.